Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, again, and thank you very much for joining with this CPD workshop series. For the first, today is our fifth day, and for the second time in the new year, and we have only 3 more sessions to complete the whole CPD workshop series. And as we all know, I don't think that we need to highlight and remind you the ground rules, which we are generally having this co-session from a resource person, most probably around 1 hour or 1 hour 15 minutes. So then we will open the forum and we enable our chat boxes in YouTube as well as in the Zoom platform for you to raise your questions. At the same time, you can raise your hand when we have the Q&A session. And especially the attendance is very important, as if you wish to obtain a certificate, you need to have minimum of 80% of attendance, where we are only allowed this attendance to be marked through a Google form, where we share through the Zoom platform as well as in the YouTube platform and the YouTube chat box. To have the access to the YouTube chat box, you have to subscribe the YouTube channel, and again, this WhatsApp or even the WhatsApp groups also, you can raise your questions. You can shoot any questions to the organizing committee. And the chat box is again only available or authorized for you to use at the Q&A session. And through the chat box only, we are sharing our Google form for the attendance. And if any of you missed out, or if many of you have interruptions in between the session due to power failure or any signal failures, what we recommend, again, you to watch it later through YouTube streaming, because we will share the YouTube links. Also, it is archived in our YouTube channel, where you can watch the complete session, and we need minimum of 3 to 4 screenshots to prove your attendance. You have watched this. For that, you need to have screenshots with certain time intervals, like say 30 minutes intervals. Then you can prove that you have watched the whole session if our organizing committee requires you to prove your attendance. So that's how it works. සුබ සන්ධ්‍යාවක් සියලු දෙනාටම සහ විශේෂයෙන්ම සුබ නව වසරක් මට ගිය සතියේ ප්‍රාර්ථනා කරන්න බැරි වෙච්ච සමාජිකයන් ඉන්නවනම් මෙතන විශේෂයෙන්ම අපි ප්‍රධාන කාරණා කීපයක් අපි භාවිතා කරනවා. මම හිතනවා සියලු දෙනා මෙතන කලින් සහභාගී වෙච්ච කට්ටිය තමයි ඇත්තේ කියලා. විශේෂ කාරණා දෙකක්. එකක් තමයි අපේ Q&A session එක. අපි ප්‍රධාන දේශනේ අතරතුර අපි දේශකයාට බාධාවක් වන පරිදි අපි ප්‍රශ්න ඉදිරිපත් කරන්නේ නැහැ. ඔබේ ප්‍රධාන දේශනේ පැයක් හෝ පැය මිනිත්තු 15ක් අවසානයේදී තමයි අපි Q&A session එකට අපි අවස්ථාව දෙන්නේ. ඒකට ඔබට පුළුවන් YouTube channel එකේ අපේ තියෙන streaming එකේ chat box එක පාවිච්චි කරන්න. එහෙම නැත්නම් මෙතන තියෙන Zoom platform එකේම chat box එක පාවිච්චි කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ අවස්ථා දෙක තමයි අපි තියෙන ප්‍රශ්න ඉදිරිපත් කරන්න. තවත් විශේෂම ප්‍රශ්න තිබෙනවා නම් ඔබට පුළුවන් අපේ WhatsApp අංක වලට අපේ messages එවන්න. අපි ඒවා දේශකයාට යොමු කරනවා, සහ අපිට කාල වේලාව මදි වුණොත් අපි ඒවා එකතු කරලා දේශකයාගෙන් අපි පිළිතුරු ලබා ගන්නවා. ඊට අමතරව ඔබගේ පැමිණීම ලකුණු කිරීම ඉතාම අත්‍යවශ්‍යයි. ඔබ සහතිකයක් බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා නම් එහිදී අපි නැවතත් පැමිණීම ලකුණු කිරීමට අපි අවස්ථාව ලබා දෙන්නේ මේ කතා කරන Zoom platform එකේම තියෙන chat box එක හරහා. අපි Google form එකක් කියවනවා. එහෙම නැත්නම් ඒ form එකම අපි share කරනවා YouTube එකෙත් chat එක හරහා. ඒතර මේ දෙක මාක් කිරීම පමණයි ඔබට කරන්න පුළුවන් attendance mark ගන්න. ඒක අපි බොහෝ දුරට දේශන අතරතුර හෝ Q&A session එකදී තමයි අපි link එක එවන්නේ Google form එකක් attendance mark කරන්න. ඒත් එකම ඔබට යම්කිසි කාරණයක් නිසා power failure එකක්, එහෙම නැත්නම් signal failure එකක්, විශේෂයෙන්ම දිවෙනේ පවතින මේ විදුලි බල අර්බුදය නිසා ඔබට යම්කිසි සීමාවක මේක නරඹන්න නොහැකුණොත් අපි recommend කරන්නේ, සහ අපේ සංවිධායක මණ්ඩලයෙන් බලාපොරොත්තු වුණොත් එහෙනම් ඔබට ඒක prove කරන්න ඔබට පුළුවන් YouTube එක හරහා නැවත මේක නරඹලා මිනිත්තු 30ක intervals වලින් අඩුම ගානේ screenshot 3ක් හෝ 4ක් අපිට එවන්න. ඒකට අපි නැවතත් හෙට දින හෝ අනිද්දා දින අපි එවනවා වෙනම WhatsApp group වලට Google form එකක් attendance mark කරන්න බැරි වෙච්ච කට්ටියට. එතකොට එතන තියෙනවා screenshots 2ක් හෝ 3ක් upload කරන්න අපි අවස්ථාවක් ලබා දීලා තියෙනවා. ඒ ආකාරයට තමයි යන්නේ. අපි වැඩි වෙලාවක් ගන්න නැතුව අපි අද දේශකයාට යමු. If I am to introduce Dr. Isuru Disanayake, he's a senior lecturer attached to the Faculty of Engineering, particularly for the Department of Electrical and Electronics in University of Peradeniya, and he obtained his basic degree from University of Peradeniya Faculty of Engineering under the discipline of Electrical and Electronics. And later he joined and he finished his MSc and the PhD from Washington University in St. Louis, United States of America. And he's got over 16 years of experience, particularly not only in academics. So that's one of a key reason for him to be here, because he's not just an academia, and he's having a lot of experience in the industry, academic, plus in research areas. At the same time, currently he serves to ICTA. I believe everybody knows what ICTA stands for, and he's a director of ICTA right now. Those are the bio of Dr. Isuru, and fortunately, he's one of my batchmates from University of Peradeniya, and he's one of a very good friend who would love to work with students. And to be honest with you, I have a very special thing of Dr. Isuru to mention here, especially for the young ones. And right now, many of us, most of the friends around us simply have a question right now when we are going to migrate or when you are going to go away from the country. But Dr. Isuru has recently come back to Sri Lanka from staying in the United States for such a long time. I believe it's about 15 years of time. And he came back to Sri Lanka very recently, even under this context, presuming that he can serve to the country back. So with that remark, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to hand over the session. The screen is yours, Dr. Isuru. We can start and we'll continue. Again, in advance, thank you very much for being here today. Dr. Isuru?
Yeah, thank you very much for inviting me. It's a real pleasure to talk to this cohort. When Nalin told me in the beginning, the audience that's going to participate, I see the opportunity, and we don't get this kind of opportunity to talk to this large, diverse group of people. The university or in the organizations you are working, you will be talking to very specific people who are having very specific problems. But giving this opportunity to talk to this cohort, I thank Nalin for providing this opportunity and for the nice introduction of me. So when Nalin asked me talk about something that is useful for you all, I was thinking days what to talk about. I want something that is useful that you can carry out. Then I choose the topic, the career guidance. Let me share my screen. Can you see the screen, Ali?
Yeah, it's all good, sir. Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, good. So but once the topic was chosen, the problem was how I am going to give advice or the direction for this diverse community. But anyway, my aim today is to give you an overview of how to shape your career, and mainly the things that you might do unknowingly that will have a bad effect on your career progress. So how to avoid those and so on. That's the main thing. But I admit the career guidance is something that you'd be tailor-made to each and every person, because your interest, your background, the things that you acquire is different. Those contexts has to be taken care of. But what I'm going to do is just an overview for you all. I think you'll get something out of this talk. Okay. So I also have the power problems. I just got the power back, so I think I'll be good for another 2 hours or so. But in case if the power fails, I have a UPS, but it won't switch on automatically. So I had to go switch on. Maybe I'll go offline for 5 minutes, but I'll come back. Stay tuned, don't panic. I'll be back if the power goes away, right? With that, let me start the presentation. As I said, what I want to do is to talk about the career guidance in general context, how one should plan your career and what are the difficulties that a person would face in general framework and how you will overcome. Now, when you think about the career guidance, the first thing is come to your mind is, when do you think about your career? In Sri Lankan context, we know we have A-levels, O-levels, and so on. But really, the future life being changed by some of the events that been happening for the students. So therefore, it's very essential you plan your career in the very beginning of your career. But to do that, you should have some knowledge of what is the things that are available in the market, so that you can tailor-made to it. So that's like the one thing I want to touch upon in this talk. And the different career paths available. Now, we all have this formal education career path where you go A-level, O-level, and O-level, A-level. And if you pass A-level, you will be admitted to a university and so on. That's the formal career path. But in the formal career path also, there are some mistakes some people doesn't, because of not knowing what is the opportunities available. So I'll talk about how do you plan if you want to stay on the formal career path, which I also went through, because I also passed O-levels, A-levels, university, and so on, postgraduate. But then there is a large quantity of the people who were not able to go through in this career path, and they will be dropping at each of these levels. There will be people dropping out at A-levels, O-levels, O-levels and A-levels. Sorry, I always see in the backward. And even at the undergraduate level, the graduate level, and so on, those people also going into the society for looking for job opportunities. Now, for that people, if you are interested in the ICT area, which I was also involved, I would direct you for some opportunities. And also the people, even though you're in a very good organization where you have a clear career path, continuous career development is what very important. So how do you, some companies I know, there are career managers who actually advise you what to do next, and so on. But in general understanding, it's very important that you will have in your mind, even you are in a good career-oriented organization, how do you plan? So that's like the main context of this presentation that I'm going to do. But as I said in the beginning, right, this is going to be a very basic, and because of the diversity of the group, what I was trying to touch is the overview of all these topics. Okay. Now, before going into the main topic, let me give you some of the statistics which I get from the UGC website. This is available in UGC website also, which shows where we are in terms of education and molding our young generation, right? So the expenditure that the government put in to education is only about 1.98% from total expenditure. There was a big argument a few years back. This number has to be 6% at least. Now, the thing is, our revenue is also low, but that revenue also only about 2% will go to the education. So we are heavily underfunded in education sector. Therefore, it's essential to find the other means to pursue your education. What I'm talking about, the government institution. I also part of a government institution, but all the government institution, even at the schools levels, university level, and so on, everywhere it's underfunded. That is a known thing. Because of that, there are problems that have been arising, but that also can affect your career path. But because of that, as I said, we should be thinking about other opportunities that have been available for us. So if I look at the 2021 statistics, the new admission to the universities is like 43,000. And that as a percentage of the eligible candidate, that means the people who pass O-level with the eligibility to admit to the university is only 22%. So there will be like nearly 78% people who are eligible to go to government universities, but they do not able to attend there. So there will be large number of people will be looking for career opportunity at that level. But some people in that cohort, they will find the opportunities in foreign universities and so on. But what I'm saying is the amount that can go through the main channel is very limited. The last topic, last bullet here is the if you take the age group, I think most of you are in this age group, 19 to 23, and this age group only about 9% of the student and the people are in any university for their higher education. So about 92% of these people who can be in a university are not in the university. So that also a problem. But if you look at a developed country, for example, the United States, this number is about 40%. They are also not at the level they wanted. They are also under in this number, but we are way below in this thing. So these statistics shows that the opportunities in the mainstream is very limited. Therefore, something has to be done for others to have opportunities in the other stream, right? Other stream means that apart from the mainstream education. But this slide just to show you what our mainstream education is now. This everybody knows. I don't want to spend time here, but there are some people do some mistakes also in even you follow in this path where you do O-levels, A-levels, and the university education and so on. But I'll highlight the basic problems the students have when they're at each of these levels, and what are the solutions that we can offer in terms of using the technological development that we all experiencing today. Yeah. For example, this is again the same thing that's been showing, right? The A-levels, O-levels, O-level first, A-levels, first degree, and then you have postgraduate degree and the employment. Now, the employment in the best context has to be come after postgraduate degree. That is where you can go to the most paying jobs, and they'll be paying very they're paying very much more compared to the other place. But each of these stages you can exit from the mainstream and go and work, which you can work with the O-level qualification, and you can work with the A-level qualification and first degree also, where most of the people would try to find a job, and they try to do a postgraduate while working and so on. But if you look at the A-levels, O-levels, the main problem that most of the students are paying is they don't have enough English knowledge to get to the job market. And the job market requires the English knowledge same as somebody is in that age in United States or UK. Person who is in the UK speaking English day-to-day life and doing all those things. If you look at the private companies, they would require the same level of fluency out of the our students, but most of them do not have that levels of English understanding, because the English education in our country is very pathetic, and the schools does not provide enough opportunities for students to learn English. There are different reasons. I don't want to go into the reasons, and the teachers were not trained at all. And the amount of the knowledge difference the variation in the students in the knowledge of English is different. But now, because of the technological advancement, we have free online courses some can take. For example, I have listed some here. The Coursera is one such platform where they offer free courses. You can pay if you want a certificate or something, but if you just want to improve your knowledge, and the Coursera provides a very good comprehensive courses about English language. So you can follow those things. There's another one called Udemy that I haven't seen being offered, offered for free, but for very minimum amount, you can follow very good English courses where you can improve your knowledge. As I said before, the people who are recruiting is expecting the same level. And it's also the same if you go for other country for education or work. They don't consider that you're coming from Sri Lanka and your mother language is not English, which is the common for most of us, including me. And this man or this woman should have less English compared to the person who is mother tongue is English. That's not the case. If you hired for a position, the position requires the level of English language fluency, then you should have it. So because of that, it's going to be very hard. Even a lot of foreign companies is coming to Sri Lanka having the English knowledge. Having the English knowledge that's required by that job. And also YouTube is a good resource if you want to use. I have seen many people have published a lot of good English lessons into YouTube, but the problem is YouTube is you should be very careful, because since everybody can publish there, the content there is not standardized or anything. But I have seen good things. So because when you follow something in YouTube, then you should be consulted with somebody who in the field who knows what the requirement is and so on. But the resources are there you to improve English. So at that level, I think the main problem is English, and you should be thinking about that. But the A-level is again another problem, because the A-level is a competitive exam. And because of the competitiveness nowadays, without tuition, it's been impossible to get to a university. Everybody should do tuition. However, the A-level has its own limitations. A-level not filter the best, the cream that we talk about, but it filter capable people, but the people who are not able to go through A-level may be the most creative people. So then the thing is, what would they do if they don't have the opportunity to get to the first university? But the challenges there is this the tuitions and the utmost cost that associated with the tuition and so on, but which also have some the opportunities now due to the technological advancement. I have seen that a lot of people have been telecasting their lectures over the YouTube. And there's online resources are coming up, so you can do that in order to surpass these difficulties. Let me go quickly. The first degree, what's the difficulties that you pose? You will be exposed to a different learning environment, where in A-level, it's everything being taught, and you will be expected to answer from a very structured syllabus. Now, in a first degree, if you are in the STEM field, then the structure will be different, and you will be exposed to a different environment. And in this environment, to be thrive, you should do different things. For example, how to learn as a group, how to learn from your peers. And those things has to be mastered at that stage. if you want to be successful. And the other thing is, last thing that I want to talk about is the postgraduate opportunities. And if you plan to go for another country for the postgraduate opportunities, then the problems that you face there is enormous, because you'll be exposed to a different culture, different people, and so on. And you will be working independently. Some of you may have worked independently even here before doing these postgraduate things. But when you are in a different country, there's no option that you have to do everything differently, independently. So these are like the main problems that anybody who is going in this the mainstream a career would praise. But once you have the employment, right, then the employment with all these qualifications, postgraduate and first degree and so on, the career path from there onwards is actually easy, because you would have to do very less things to be promoted. And it's all about then the online or the in-house work experience, but that matters, how you perform, how you deliver your deliverables and so on. So as a person who went in this stream, and this is like the most the risk wise, this is the most less risk path one to take. But as I said before, it is not for everybody, because of the admission were limited to very small number of students. A lot of you may not be able to do that. We'll talk about later what are the other options you will have if you don't follow this path, right? As I said, it's the least risk. And if you pass all the exams and all the things, then you will be mostly guaranteed the employment, and you will be always at the top of the ladder. So though it is hard, and less people are able to do that, in the Sri Lankan scenario, we all can try to get into this path. So I encourage you to try. I'm not telling you to take the A-level again and again if you are not able to pass it. But anyway, try it. I have seen people who are not trying that, who will be trying some other things, like very early stage, which actually may not be beneficial. I cannot say exactly whether that is good, but in the risk-wise, I would say trying this path is the least risk. But if you don't able to get it, which is what statistics shows us, then we can try different things. And there are a lot of misconceptions of people who trying this path, right? People have saying that if you go through this traditional pathway, you will not able to get a job and so on, and you would do other things to prove you have mastered something else. But that is not the case. I'll give you some examples. Especially in the STM field, the science, engineering and technology field, some of you people who are not able to get into the engineering schools, they go to the science faculties. And I know a person who selected to the science, two good friend of mine selected to the science faculty. But then one would thought that doing a science degree would not allow him to go to a job in Sri Lanka. Instead of that thing, he dropped out from science faculty, and then he went and do a technological diploma, which he completed good, because he's a very capable person, and he was able to get a job in Sri Lanka in a telecom company as a technical officer, which is good. The technical officers in a private telecom company pays a good salary, so he'll be comfortable living that. But there's another guy who is in the same batch. He just got a general chemistry degree, the chemistry degree that is 3 years. But then he tried the postgraduate. He went to United States applying for a PhD, and he finished it in 5 years. And then after that, he joined. I worked for Intel Corporation, and he joined for the same company as an engineer. And then he'll be earning a lot of money than the person who drop out and do the technological courses. But if that guy was stayed on the traditional path, he would have do the same thing. So that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of misconception. Because this path is tedious, because this path allows only little people to get through, it is not a bad path. If you choose that one, it will put you, and if you work hard, it will put you on the top of the tree, so you can pluck the most valuable fruit. That's one of the misconceptions, right? And the programs that are focusing on a fundamental theoretical knowledge is not being admired in our Sri Lankan society. For engineering graduates, we get job opportunities directly, but because we are a professional degree. But for a science degree or biology, science, other stuff, which more focus on the fundamental sciences, not being recognized in this country. But that's not the case if you go abroad. But because those degrees have larger opportunities to get into the higher studies and so on, because one thing is the amount of people who are doing is less in other countries. Everybody wants to get a degree that will immediately can go find a job. But those degrees were not, because of that, they will have a higher opportunities in the higher postgraduate era. Therefore, people who are in those fields, do not disappoint then that you will not get a job immediately. You will get a job. For example, if you get a physics graduate, he has a fundamental knowledge, but he can go to the government institution where you do the government scientific stuff like meteorological department, aviation, and so on. But he also can go to the other universities for the postgraduate studies. And because of the less amount of people and all that, the opportunities are higher. Then he can follow that path, and eventually he can become an engineer or a scientist or a professor and all that. So keep in mind the fundamental theoretical science people, you are valuable, and it is good that you keep on doing the things that you're doing and targeting for the postgraduate opportunities for you. I talk about a little bit how do you do that in coming slides. And then I think you will be able to get more out of your degree. Okay. So if you are looking for a postgraduate opportunity, this is basically for science graduates, science engineering, and the technology graduates. You should be thinking about in your third year. That's what I'm saying, because it needs some preparations. You will need your GPA and things of that kind of things wrap up. Also, you need to take some standardized tests for English language, TOEFL, and there's two other the tests are needed for if you are applying for United States. That is GRE, general and GRE subject. So for those preparation, you should need. It doesn't mean that you can do it after the graduation. Then you need at least 1 year for these exams to finish. And the cycle, it's not, they will not admit at any time like us. They are in a synchronized fashion. They have 2 semesters, mainly in the fall and one in the spring. So you have to target for those things. Therefore, you will lose much of the time if you don't plan it in third year. So best thing, if you are looking for a postgraduate opportunity in abroad, I encourage you to think about US because of the funding opportunities. If you have money, if you pay that money with your degree in the STM field, then you will be admitted to any university, most of the universities. But most of us would not have that luxury to pay for a foreign university. Then we'll be depending on the financial aids provided by the university. The financial aid side, the university is more towards the PhD degrees, because that's where the universities get benefits. You do research, you publish things. From that, the university ranking will improve. So the university funding for degrees, postgraduate degrees are in the PhDs. That's what I'm saying. The MSCs, if you apply for MSCs, which is 2 years, and it's very compelled to everybody to apply for MSCs, but the fundings were not there, because there are a lot of people who like to pay and do the degree. Then why they should give free for other people, though you have good merits in your undergraduate degree. So that's what I'm saying. If you're looking for a postgraduate opportunity abroad, directly go for a PhD. That is beneficial for you in terms of finance. Also, it'll, as I said, it'll put you in the top of the tree where you are exposed to the best fruit, right? And then the other thing is which program you need to apply. Now, when you finish your undergraduate in chemistry, physics, or any science, engineering, we have different specialization and all that. But if you look at the US postgraduate market, all of these are considered as your undergraduate degree, and you can apply for any of the other fields. And people encourage to do that too. I have seen people doing electrical engineering and they're doing physics for their PhD, and the vice versa. The physics undergraduates come to electrical engineering and so on. And biology, for example, they have they have like a very distinct from the mathematics-oriented fields. The biology people also come and apply for electrical engineering and so on. So therefore, your undergraduate degree in that place is just a ladder to get to the next step, but you can apply for anything pretty much. Therefore, then you need to find a program that really interests you, that because the PhD is a very large time, which is like 5 years for 5 years average. So if you want to spend 5 years, you better study something that interests you, right? So therefore, it's also very important you find a program that is very interested you, and you feel that you do a good job. So those are the things that is
Sorry to disturb, Dr. Sir. Just a small general reminder about that Sinhala briefing about two.
Oh, yeah, sure. Oh, the mama within the Kiagana api formal education කියන පාත් එකේ යනවා නම් ඒ කියන්නේ ඒ පාත් එක තමයි අපිට નિરાයසයෙන්ම මේ විවෘත වෙන පාර. ඒ කියන්නේ අපි O level pass වෙනවා, ඊට පස්සේ A level pass වෙනවා, ඊට පස්සේ A level pass වුණොත් undergraduate degree එකක් කරනවා, ඊට පස්සේ ඒකේ success වුණොත් අපිට post graduate degree එකක් කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඊට පස්සේ මේ employment රස්සාවකට යන්න පුළුවන්. ඕන තැනක. ඒක තමයි ඇත්තටම සක්සස්ෆුල්ම රිස්ක් එක වතින් අවම පාර විදිහට මම දකින්නේ. දැන් මේ පාරේ යනකොට සමහර කට්ටිය එක එක තැන් වලින් හැලෙනවා. අපි ඒගොල්ලන්ට මොනවද කරන්න පුළුවන් කියලා අපි ඊළඟට කතා කරමු. නමුත් මේ පාරේ යනවා නම් හුඟක් කට්ටිය කරන වැරදි දෙයක් තමයි මේ science based degrees වලට මේ රට තුල වැඩි job market එකක් නැති නිසා ඒවා වලට තියෙන ආසාව හුඟක් කට්ටියට අඩුයි. නමුත් ඒවම තමයි international market එකේ බැලුවොත් එහෙම international market එක කියන්නේ international job opportunities බැලුවොත් එහෙම නෑ. science based subject වලට හැමතැනම ගොඩක් ඉල්ලුමක් තියෙනවා. ඒක නිසා කවුරු හරි select වෙනවා නම් science faculty එට engineering යන්න බැරුව ඒක කිසිම වෙලාවක අව탁සේරු කරන්න එපා ඒ මාර්ගයේ යන එක. මම කියන්නේ ඒ මාර්ගයේ ගිහිල්ලා ඔයාලට පස්සේ වෙලාවක පෝස්ට් ග්‍රැජුවේට් වලදී engineering degree එකක් කරලා engineering එකක් කළා ඔයාලට engineer කෙනෙක් වෙනවා නම් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ වගේ පාත් එකක් තියෙනවා. ඒක නිසා ඒ වගේ දේවල් හුඟක් වෙලාවට මිස්ලීඩ් කරන දෙයක් තමයි මේ හුඟක් ළමයි දාලා යනවා. මේ සයන්ස් ඩිග්‍රීස් දාලා යනවා. මේ එක එක්කෙනාගෙන් ලැබෙන වැරදි උපදෙස් නිසා ජොබ් මාකට් එක ලංකාවේ නැහැ. ඇත්ත ලංකාවේ අමාරුයි තමයි. නම ලංකාව විතර නෙවෙයි පිටරටත් තියෙනවා. එතකොට මේ හැමදේම බැලුවාම මේ සයන්ස් බේස් ඩිග්‍රී එකක ඉන්නවා නම් ඒකේ ඉන්න එක තමයි වඩා වැදගත් කියන්නේ. දැන් එහෙම ඉන්න කෙනෙකුට පෝස්ට් ග්‍රැජුවේට් අවස්ථාවක් හම්බුනොත් එහෙම මම කියවේ හැම වෙලේම ඇප්ලයි කරන්න කියලා PhD ඩිග්‍රී එකට. මොකද ඒකට තමයි ෆයිනෑන්ෂියල් ඒඩ් එනදා ස්කෝලර්ෂිප්ස් තියෙන්නේ යුනිවර්සිටි එකෙන් දෙන. ස්කෝලර්ෂිප් දෙනවා වෙන වෙන ආයතන වලින්. ඒ වගේ ඒවා තියෙන්න පුළුවන් මාස්ටර්ස් ඩිග්‍රී වලට. නමුත් PhD එකකට හුඟක් වෙලාවට ඒ වගේ ස්කෝලර්ෂිප් අවස්ථාව ලැබෙන්නේ මේ යුනිවර්සිටි එකෙන්මයි. ඒ නිසා ඒක ටිකක් ලේසි අපිට ලබා ගන්න. ඒ වගේම මේක අවුරුදු 5ක් පුරා යන ඩිග්‍රී එකක් නිසා මේ ඕගොල්ලන් කැමති ඒ වගේම ඕගොල්ලන්ට ඉන්ට්‍රස්ට් එකක් තියෙන ෆීල්ඩ් එකක් තෝරා ගැනීම වැදගත් වෙනවා. දැන් අපි සයන්ස් ඩිග්‍රී එකක් කරොත් එimhe සයන්ස් ටෙක්නොලොජි ඉන්ජිනියරින් මැතමැටික්ස් මේ ඕන දෙක ඩිග්‍රී එකක් කරොත් එimhe අපිට පළවෙනි ඩිග්‍රී එකෙන් ලැබෙන්නේ ඒකට යන්න අඩිතාලම විතරයි. ඊට පස්සේ ඕන තැනකට යන්න පුළුවන්. තියෙන ඔපචුනිටි එක ආනවා. ඒක නිසා වඩා ඔයගලන්ටත් මේක දීර්ඝ කාලයක් යන නිසා මේකට ඔයගලන් කැමති ෆීල්ඩ් එකක් තෝරගන්න වැදගත්. මේකේ තියෙන අනිත් වාසිය තමයි PhD එකක් කරන හදිසියේ PhD එක අතරමඟදී ඔයාට හිතුනොත් එහෙම මේක කරගෙන යන්න බෑ මොකක් හරි ප්‍රශ්නයක් නිසා. එහෙමනම් ඔයාට MSc එකක් අරගෙන ඒ PhD එකෙන් අයින් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. හැබැයි ඒක එච්චර රෙකමන්ඩ් කරන පාත් එකක් නෙවෙයි. මොකද ඒක යුනිවර්සිටි එකට ඒක ලොස් එකක්. ඊට පස්සේ ඔයා එහෙම කරොත් එහෙම ආය මේ ලංකාවෙන් ළමයි ගන්න නැති වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ වගේ ප්‍රශ්න ගොඩක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. නමුත් ඒකත් එක ඔප්ෂන් එකක් තමයි. ඒ නිසා මේ පෝස්ට් ග්‍රැජුවේට් කවුරු හරි ප්ලෑන් කරනවා නම් PhD ඩිග්‍රී එකක් ටාගට් කරන එක තමයි වඩා මේ opportunity wise මේ අපිට මේ advantage එකක් තියෙන්නේ. ඒක තමයි මම මෙච්චර කල් කිව්වේ. දැන් එතකොට මේ වගේ පාත් එකේදී අපි planning කොයි කාලෙද කරන්න ඕනේ කියන එක තමයි ඊළඟට. The where we should plan our careers. Now, when you have some kind of decision-making power, that is when I think you should decide what to do. When your parents were letting you go, for example, say trips by your own, then they trust you for some extent. And then at that age, maybe it varies for each and every person. It can be 16, 18, 20. Some people even 30, the parents won't let you go. That's the other thing in Sri Lankan culture. But once you have the confidence and once your parents see confidence on you, you should be thinking about planning your careers. I would say most of the people, the A-level or before A-level is the area. Actually, you can plan your career. Now, the plan won't work most of the time, but it's okay. Plans doesn't need to be working as they plan, but having a plan is very important because that eliminates a lot of problems, right? If I want to get an analogy, now say you try to go to your village from where you stay or something in a university, and then you know the bus to take. When the bus comes and all those things, then you will just go to the bus stand at the time the bus comes and then you go there directly. Now, if you take another bus, which is going in a different route, but anyway, you will go to the destination, but with a different hardships, right? You will lose the bus, you will be crowded, the buses will crowded and so on, as like you will. If you don't have a plan, you can still attain to the target, but with much difficulties. But therefore, planning is very important. And the other thing is the people around you is very important. Now, you might not think about it, especially the friends, because the friends around you influence you a lot, and no time you will be one of them. And some of you may have experienced that also. And university, we will be seeing that also. Therefore, having a good surrounding is important. And if somebody was telling you something that is not applicable or that is not beneficial, then you should be think twice before doing that. Therefore, having a group of people who you are interacting is very important, and that's actually define what you do, right? As I said before, right, GCA A-level unarguably the turning point of our students. Most of them, that is the career-defined exam. But as I said, that exam do not filter the outstanding cream of the country. It gives a cohort that is capable carrying out things. There's no doubt that we are getting capable people to the universities, but still, there are a lot of people who do not have that opportunity to pass the exam, though they are intellectually better compared to what they pass, but compared to what the people who have passed. Now, the thing is, what we can do to the people who do not able to get through the GCA level. But this is the thing, there's no one path in career. For example, I have just listed one here. Say if you want to become an engineer in this country, and then you have the traditional path, the formal path that as I explained here, you go to, you pass A level, you go to engineering school and graduated from there. And if you don't do that, then the other option is to take the IESL exams. That will also qualify you as an engineer. And also you can do foreign universities, which you already know, most of you, I guess. And also, as my friend did, the chemistry graduate who did chemistry, and he went to foreign university, still did chemistry for his PhD. But the good thing is, once you've done a PhD, it doesn't matter actually which field you are in. You will be doing in wireless communication, you will be doing quantum physics, you will be doing it, but you will be in a one level for industry to be considered. When industry hiring a PhD graduate, it's hard, they don't consider whether this person was specialized in this particular area, and we want to get him to do that. People see these people as a capable people for solving a real world problem. So that my friend who is a PhD graduate, the chemistry graduate, who came to Intel as an engineer. So that's thing there. So that option is also there, and he's been paid the same as any other engineer, right? So there's no problem. So that's the only thing, right? If you were not able to get through the A-level exam, don't disappoint it. You can keep your career goal as it is, but there will be different paths. And this is just an example, and it is true for all the other areas as well. Now the cream that is not able to get through the A levels is what we most concerned, because they are the brilliant people, but because of the limitations in our education system, they will not able to go through. Now, those people are the people we want to nature, and because they are very valuable in terms of making the economy of this country. Now, those people, what I was saying is, first thing is you need to find your passion. It's a very good thing. But when I say passion, what is the passion? That's the next question that you might have, right? The passion is something that you can do over and over, and you don't feel tired but you can enjoy itself, not for the monetary value or the monetary feedback, and but it's self-satisfactory. For example, some people can play music over and over again without tiring, and some people can play certain sports, and some people can do the electronic circuits, or they do these things, mechanical designs and all that, right? So there are different things, but you need to find what really interests you, and you can do it for the rest of your life. And once you find that one, that's not an easy task though, because nobody knows what it's, and we don't have time to try everything now, right? So given the resources, there are limitations. So, but you need to find your passion. Nowadays, people were browsing internet, Facebook over and over without tiring. That is not a passion. That is an addiction. It's like addicting to alcohol and so on. But once you find a thing that is passionate you, and that's where you should want to pursue your career. Now, and one thing that because I'm getting into the area where the startup, freelancing, entrepreneurship, and so on. These people, if they find what inside them, they can try those things, and there are existing mechanisms and institutions in Sri Lanka which can help them to get through, which I will explain in coming slide. But that one thing I want to say here is, if you keep trying same thing again and again, and you are failing, and don't do that. That's not going to help you. The most stupid thing I have seen, these people who are passionate about something, they tried the same thing, and they tried the same thing again the same way, and expecting a different result. That won't happen. So there's something to be changed in that scenario to get the results out of it. And then once you have something, then we can think about the business opportunities which aligns with your passion. Those people can bring it to the next level and can be entrepreneurs and so on. Now, I also work for an organization called ICTA, ICTA, which basically our function is the providing the policies and procedures for the government to help to govern the IT industry. But ICTA also offers a lot of programs for the people who are passionate about IT and industry as a whole. And they have different career guidance programs, the entrepreneurship training programs, freelancing, and so on. So if you go to this website, https lightningdigital.gov.lk, that's been maintained by the ICTA. You can see a lot of programs that being offered for the entrepreneurs and freelancers. For example, youth boot camps for entrepreneurs, freelancing guidance. Now, some of you have this great idea, but you don't know how to start a business out of it. Some people have the technical skills that are needed for something, but they are lacking the business perspective. So those people can get help through ICTA. And also the freelancing is the one thing, right? The freelancing opportunities, because ITCA maintain a pool where you can be subscribed to. When the opportunities comes, they will let you know, so that you can attend those projects and work on that, and so on. And also the volunteering opportunity, it's very important if you are a entrepreneur or a freelancer, because the business comes because of the contact. I think you may have learned this one, and other speakers also may have mentioned that one too. So volunteering, networking is very important. So ICTA also organizing these events. So the young public are welcome to come and participate in those. Now, one program that the ICT offers is the Startup Nation program, which is very attractive in my opinion. So you can go to this website, startupsl.lk, where they put more information. It's no point of me explaining everything here. I just give you the link. You go find it out. And there's a spiralization program where you'll be given a grant. I think it's 1.5 million grant for each startup to get up. That's a seed funding for the business promotion and so on. And we have this Sparks X Lab, where the startups and the freelancers are invited for the space where they can start and work in that space until they grew up to a certain level where they are able to have their own space and so on. So there are a lot of programs that are offered through ICTA for the young people who are passionate about freelancing and entrepreneurship. So I would encourage you to go look at this website and apply for this program. Now, මෙච්චර වෙලා කිව්වේ ප්‍රධාන මාර්ගයේ ප්‍රධාන ධාරාවේ කියන්නේ formal education එක යන්න බැරි වෙච්ච කට්ටියට තියෙන opportunity එකක් ICTA ආයතනය හරහා. ICTA කියන්නේ government එකේ ආයතනයක්. අපේ ප්‍රධානම මමත් ඒකේ වැඩ කරන නිසා ප්‍රධානම දේ තමයි government එකට government රාජ්‍ය ප්‍රතිපත්තියට IT industry එක govern කරන්න අවශ්‍ය වෙනවා. ඕන රාජ්‍යයකට ඒක කරන්න වෙනවා. ඒව කරද්දී කොහොමද ප්‍රතිපත්ති සහ අනිකුත් දේවල් පිළියෙල කරන එක තමයි ප්‍රධානම දේ. නමුත් ICTA ආයතනය ඇතුලේ විවිධ ප්‍රෝග්‍රෑම් තියෙනවා. මේ තරුණ කට්ටියට විතර නෙවෙයි, මේ ස්ටාර්ට්අප් සහ entrepreneurship කියන දේ කරන කට්ටියට ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ අලුත්ම ව්‍යාපාරයක් පටන් ගන්නවා නම් ICTA IT ඉන්ඩස්ට්‍රියට සම්බන්ධ නිසා මේක බොහෝ විට මේ ප්‍රෝග්‍රෑම් entrepreneurship කියලා මම කිව්වට මේක හැම entrepreneur IT entrepreneurship freelancing ගැන තමයි මම කතා කරන්නේ. මේවට opportunity එකක් තියෙනවා. මේ website එකට යන්න පුළුවන්. lightning digitalgov.lk මේ website එකේ අපි publish කරලා තියෙනවා මොන වගේ programs ද entrepreneur කෙනෙකුට හා freelance කෙනෙකුට ඕන වෙන්නේ කියලා. youth camp, boot camp තියෙනවා, freelancing garden තියෙනවා. මොකක්ද දෙන්න තියෙන ප්‍රශ්නේ තමයි the ideas තියෙනවා. නමුත් ඒ ideas එළියට ගේන්න කොහොමද කරන්න කියලා. ඒකට guidance මේ ITC ආයතනයේ මේව program හරහා ලබා දීලා තියෙනවා. ඒ වගේම මේකට අමතරව තව ප්‍රෝග්‍රෑම් කීපයක් තියෙනවා. මෙතන කීපයක් විතරයි මම සඳහන් කරලා තියෙන්නේ. ICT වෙබ්සයිට් එකට ගියපුවාම මේ මම දීලා තියෙන ලින්ක්ස් වලට ගියපුවාම බලා ගන්න පුළුවන් මොනවද මේ ඇත්තටම මේ වෙලාවේ ඔෆර් කරන දේවල් කියලා. මේ spiralization program කියලා එකක් තියෙනවා. ඒකේ seed funding මිලියන 1.5ක් ප්‍රමාණයක් entrepreneur කෙනෙකුට ලබා දෙනවා. ඒ වගේ program තියෙනවා මේ කරගෙන යන්න. ඒ වගේම Sparks X කියලා lab එකක් තියෙනවා ICT ආයතනයේ විසින් පවත්වාගෙන යන්නේ. ඒක freelancers-ලට ඇවිල්ලා වැඩ කරන්න මේ ඒගොල්ලන්ට සාමාන්‍ය work space එකක් නැහැ. නැතුව ඇති වුණොත් ඒ work space එක පාවිච්චි කරන්න අවස්ථාව ලබා දෙනවා. දැන් ICT එක විතරම නෙවෙයි මේ වගේ දේවල් offer කරන්නේ. වෙන ආයතනක් තියෙනවා. hatch කියලා ආයතනයක් තියෙනවා. ඒ වගේ තනික් කට්ටියක් කරනවා. මම දැන් ICT එකේ වැඩ කරන නිසා මම මේ programs දන්නවා. මේවා වලින් හුඟක් දෙනෙක් ප්‍රයෝජන ලබාගෙන තිනවා. මේ ඒ වගේම ඕගොල්ලන්ට හොඳ බිස්නස් අයිඩියා එකක් තියෙනවා නම් ඒක IT වලට සම්බන්ධ නම් IT වලට සම්බන්ධ නොවුනත් ICT එකේ ඉන්න කන්සල්ටන්ට් කෙනෙකුට කතා කරලා මේ ප්‍රෝග්‍රෑම් හරහා මේ මොකක් හරි කාර්ය වර්ධනයට ඕගොල්ලන්ගේ ඇත්තම entrepreneur කෙනෙක් වෙනවා කියන එක තමයි හොඳම දේ. ඒකට ඔයා වැඩ කරන්නේ ඔයාටමයි. ඒ වගේම තව ගොඩක් සේවයක් වෙනවා රටටත්. දැන් මේ වෙලාවෙත් රටට තියෙන ප්‍රශ්නේ මේ විදේශ මුදල් නැති ප්‍රශ්න. ඒවා වලටත් යම් ආකාරයකින් සහයෝගය ලැබෙනවා entrepreneur කෙනෙක් වුණොත්. ඒ නිසා මම මේ ඔයගලන්ට කියනවා මේ වෙබ්සයිට් වලට ගිහලා බලන්න මොනවද තියෙන programs කියලා. මේ ඒ වගේ හුඟක් මේ දත්ත තියෙනවා. නමුත් මොනවා හරි දෙයක් මොනවා හරි අපහැරදිලා තියෙනවා නම් ඔයගොල්ලන්ට රීච් කරන්න පුළුවන් ඒකේ කන්සල්ටන්ට්ව. ඒගොල්ලන් මොනවා හරි එහෙම ප්‍රශ්නයක් තියෙනවා නම් බලාගන්න බැරි මටත් කතා කරන්න පුළුවන්. මමත් ඕන තැනකට ඒක ඩිරෙක්ට් කරන්න. The other institute that I part of is the IT center of the University of Peradeniya. So the University of Peradeniya has a IT center which offers different programs for the outsiders. So our website is this one, www.ceitpdn.lk, where what do I know, Siri? Just give me 1 minute because I think Siri is on and he might be listening to me and try to find something from web. Okay, he's gone. All right. All right, can you see my screen now?
Yes, Zero. Yeah, we can see, and there are. Yeah, there's an arrow running here and there. I think it's by yourself, right? Is it by somebody else?
Not me. I don't know why I'm exiting. Let me reshare the screen, I think.
I think if you can remove this sharing first.
Okay.
Sanjay, do you have another host trying to do something or?
No, sorry.
Okay.
I don't know why I'm.
Now fine.
Now it's
Yeah. Did you see my screen in full screen mode? Or?
Yeah. Once you put it play mode, I think then it will be okay.
Yeah, but I cannot go to the next slide. When I press the
enter,
it'll exit. Maybe I'll share the screen. I think I have shared the application. Let me try that one.
Okay. I think you have to stop sharing first.
I don't know what's going on. Anyway, I have a few more slides left, so I go anyway. So that's talking about the ICT.
Please share again, Doctor.
You don't see now?
No, now I have stopped the sharing. Now you can share again.
Okay. Okay, how about now? Can you see?
Yeah, now fine.
Okay. So this is the other institute. Hello?
Yeah, can you run to the next slide? Then we can see whether it's working.
No, I have only one slide, even though if it exits, I can do it manually. That's not a problem.
All right.
Okay. So the other thing that I was talking about, the other institute that I'm part of is the University of Peradeniya IT Center. So we offer courses for outsiders. And for example, we have like a IT diploma course. I think it's not, it's closed now. The one batch is going. And we have special, like a small short courses for different things. And we also run these professional courses like CCNA, which is essential for people who look for careers in networking. This is a Cisco certified network administration part and so on. We also have the ideas to have the courses we can do like ad hoc courses for the country's need. Nowadays, we know that the construction industry is having a hard time. So people who do the civil engineering will have a hard time in finding jobs. But people who are interested in IT, but the IT is maybe one of the few industries that thrive because of the pandemic. Because of the opportunities given by the pandemic. So if civil engineering people interested in a crash course in IT to get into the IT industry, we will be offering those kind of courses also. So this website is what we have. We will be updating that very regularly. So you can go and see. මම කිව්වේ පෙරදින විශ්වවිද්‍යාලයේ IT සෙන්ටර් එක මගිනුත් මේ පෙරදින විශ්වවිද්‍යාලයේ ශිෂ්‍යයන්ට අමතරව එහි පිටත කට්ටියටත් courses ප්‍රමාණයක් offer කරනවා. හුඟක් දේවල් short courses ඒවා හදලා තියෙන ඒ විදිහට තමයි IT diploma course එකක් තියෙනවා. ඒක ටිකක් දිග course එකක්. ඒක නම් දැන් යන එකක්. ඒකට අලුතෙන් batch එකක් මම හිතන්නේ ඊළඟ අවුරුදු වගේ තමයි ආයෙ ගන්නෙ. නමුත් අපි time to time අපි short courses offer කරනවා. මේ CCNA කියන්නේ ඒ වගේ course එකක්. Professional Network Administration Cisco platform එකේ කරන කට්ටියට අත්‍යවශ්‍ය course එකක්. මේ ඒ වගේ දේවල් අපි මේ IT center එක හරහා general public එකට offer කරනවා. ඒතකොට කවුරු හරි interest නම් මේ වගේ course හුඟක් වෙලාවට outside මේකකින් ගන්න ගියොත් එහෙම විශාල මුදලක් අය වෙනවා. නමුත් IT center එක නිකන් නෙවෙයි public එකට දෙන්නේ මුදල් අරගෙන තමයි. මේ නමුත් ඊට සහනදායී විලකට මේවා කරන්න පුළුවන් IT center එකේ through. මේ මම ඉතින් දැන් ඒ වගේ පැත්තත් බලන කට්ටියටත් ඒ කියන්නේ තමන්ගේ කැරියර් එක වෙනස් කරගන්න ඕන කට්ටියට හරි කැරියර් එකේ දියුණු කරගන්න ඕන පරිදි IT පැත්තේ තියෙනවා නම් පෙරදින විශ්වවිද්‍යාලයේ IT center එකේ වෙබ්සයිට් එකත් බලන්න. ඒකෙත් අපි අප්ඩේට් කරනවා මොනවද යන්නේ programs කියලා. Then this is my last topic that I want to talk about. Because I talk about the career guidance, then the career guidance available for both formal and informal paths in general. But the main thing that we have seen is, though you have all these qualifications and everything, the interview matters. The interview is just maybe 1 hour, 2 hour talking to some people. Then that person has to be judged you from what you get in that short period. Now, if you do a PhD, still you have to do multiple interviews, but still one would judge you in very short time. So how do you present yourself in this short time? That's a very hard problem. But in general, I would like to give these guidelines for the people who are preparing for interviews and so on. First thing is be yourself. Now, people was trying to tell things that they have not done, and interviewer who interviewing these things has been doing this for years. I am also one such person. So the moment you say something that you are not familiar, the interviewer can catch it. But you don't want to risk yourself to do something like that. Therefore, it's better to be yourself and present what you have done. And as I mentioned here, it's okay to, if it is a technical question that the interviewer asks, it's okay to say that you don't know, but you should show them that you have a willingness to learn that. If you just say that I don't know, but I will go learn, that may not be a good option, but you can show that you have passionated in these things that are related to that one, and show, give some confidence that to the interview that you will be accomplished what the job is required for. And the most of the people coming for jobs without even reading the job description. That is the main mistake that people do. The job description were put there by considering all of these factors and being spend a lot of time in preparing. The job description will is the best that describe the job. So when you go for an interview, read the job description a few times and find out what they are asking and how do you approach those things. And it's important to study the organization that you have been interviewing for. And you go to a organization and then you said you don't know the name of the CEO. That looks like very bad, and you are not paying attention to what they. So studying the organization is also important. And if you given, like if you are a PhD student, a PhD graduate going for an interview, then they will give the interviewer's name, and you can see what they are doing, what their background is. And all the thing was, in the interviews, you should minimize the number of questions that the interviewer are going to ask. To do that, you have to speak more, right? So in order to you to speak more, you should know these things, the surrounding facts. Then even though you don't know something, the interviewer don't have time to question you, right? So you speak something and then asking question from the interviewer, especially their organization procedures and the process and so on. That will show you have well prepared, you have studied thing, you have the motivation and so on. So do that thing. And the last item is show the values you can bring. And most of the organization required certain things which are listed in the job description. However, if you can offer them something above and beyond what is in the job description, that will be a plus point. Especially if you are an engineer or an executive position, then the organization does not want to do the exact thing that they were asking you to do. They want to take your own decisions. You should show them how you have taken decisions, how you have tackled problems, and so on. Now, these leadership qualities is where that matters a lot, which is actually not being groomed well in our education system. Being a leader, even at the very young stage, being a leader in a soccer team or something, will give you that confidence that you can drive other people, and you can show that you have done those things. Because in engineering level, in a global, like a multidisciplinary organization, you will be asked to do some task, but you cannot do by yourself. You need support from other people. Now, the other people are also an engineer, but because in Sri Lanka, you have a hierarchical structure where you will do what your boss says, then the boss will do what his boss says and all that. But that is no longer the most appealing architecture. And we have these parallel architectures, whereas you as an engineer need support from other engineers who are not working under you. So in that case, how do you convince that person the value that you are doing in your projects is very important. So that's why it's important to show your leadership skills and show your values at the interview, right? අන්තිම ස්ලයිඩ් එක විදිහේ මම මෙතන කියන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ කොහොමද ජොබ් ඉන්ටර්විව් එකදී ෆේස් කරන්න කියලා. මේ පිළිබඳව නම් ඕන තරම් කට්ටිය ඕන තරම් මැටීරියල් හොයාගන්න පුළුවන් වෙයි. නමුත් කී දේවල් ටිකක් අවශ්‍ය වෙනවා. ඔගොල්ලන් මේ සයන්ස්, එන්ජිනියරින්, මැතමැටික්ස් ඒ වගේ ටෙක්නිකල් ෆීල්ඩ් එකේ ජොබ් එකට යනවා. එක දේ තමයි පළවෙනි දේ තමයි තමා වෙන්න. තමන් නිකන් හදාගත්ත දේවල් කියන්න ගියොත් එහෙම ඉන්ටර්විව්වට ටක් ගාලා ඒක අහු වෙනවා. මොකද ඉන්ටර්විව් ඔයා නෙවෙයි පළවෙනිටම ඉන්ටර්විව් කරන්නේ. ඒතකොට එයා ගොඩක් කට්ටිය කරලා තිනවා. එයාගේ එක්ස්පීරියන්ස් එකත් එක්ක ඒ නිසා තමන් කරපු දේවල් තමන්ගේ හැකියාවන් ඊ විදිහට ඉදිරිපත් කිරීම තමයි වැදගත් වෙන්නේ. ඒ වගේම මේ ජොබ් එකක් තියෙනවා නම් ඒ ජොබ් එකේ මේ ඩිස්ක්‍රිප්ෂන් එක හොඳට කියවලා යන්න 4-5 පාරක් හරි කියවලා යන්න. මොකද ඩිස්ක්‍රිප්ෂන් එකේ ලියන්නේ ආබිටරි ලෙවල්. ඩිස්ක්‍රිප්ෂන් එක ලියන්නේ හුඟක් වෙලාවක් වැය කරලා තියෙනවා ඒ මැනේජර් හරි කවුරු හරි. ඒකේ තුල ගොඩක් ඉන්ෆර්මේෂන්ස් තියෙනවා. ඔයා ඒකවත් කියවලා ගියේ නැත්තම් මුගක් වෙලාවට ඉන්ටර්විව් එකේදී ප්‍රශ්න වලට මුහුණ දෙන්න වෙනවා. ඒ වගේම මේගොල්ලන්ගේ ඕගනයිසේෂන් ස්ට්‍රක්චර් එක ඒකේ ඩිරෙක්ටර්ස්ලා කවුද ඉන්නේ මුගක් වෙලාවට සීනියර් මැනේජ්මන්ට් එක වෙබ්සයිට් එකේ ඉන්නවා. ඒගොල්ලෝ මොනවද කරන්නේ? ඒ පිළිබඳව කියවලා යන්න ඕනේ. අනිත් එක දැන් ටෙක්නිකල් ෆීල්ඩ් එකේ නම් ටෙක්නිකල් ප්‍රශ්නයක් ඇහුවොත් එimhe සමහර ටෙක්නිකල් ප්‍රශ්න බැරි වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඒක ඇක්සෙප්ටබල්. දැන් කවුරු හරි මගෙන් ඇහුවොත් එහෙම standard value මොකක් හරි දෙයක් ඒ වගේ ප්‍රශ්නයකට SVD decomposition කියන මොකක්ද කියලා ඒක බැරි වෙන්න පුළුවන්. සමහර වෙලාවට ඔයාව ඒකෙන් අයින් කරන්න ඕන නම් මම දන්නවා සමහර කට්ටිය අර දෙනවා second law of thermodynamics කියන්නේ කියලා. දැන් second law of thermodynamics කියන එක ෆන්ඩමෙන්ටල් දෙයක් වුණාට ඒක මේ අපේ දේවාග තියාගෙන ඉන්න ඕන දෙයක් නෙවෙයිනේ. ඒතර එහෙම දෙයක් ඇහුවොත් එහෙම දන්නේ නැත්නම් දන්නේ නැහැ කියන ප්‍රශ්නයක් නෙවෙයි. නමුත් ටෙක්නිකල් දෙයක් ඇහුවොත් එහෙම ඒක ඉගෙන ගන්න ඒක හොයාගෙන ප්‍රසන්ට් කරන්න පුළුවන් කියන එක ඉන්ටර්විව් එකට තේරුම් කරවන්න ඕනේ. ඒක නිකම්ම කියලා හරියන්නේ නැහැ. මම ගිහිල්ලා මම මේක දන්නේ නැහැ. කවුරු හරි Python ගැන මම Python දන්නේ නැහැ. මම Python ඉගෙනගෙන ඉන්නම් කියලා නිකන් වචනේ දෙනවා නේ. නමුත් වාට කියනවා මම Python දන්නේ නැහැ. නමුත් මම තව COBOL කරලා තිනවා. මම වෙන language එකක් කරලා තිනවා. ඒක නිසා Python උත් ඒ වගේමයි. ඒ වගේ මොකක් හරි relevant විදියට convince කරන්න වෙනවා. ඒ වගේ ප්‍රශ්නයක් ඔයාලට බැරි වුණොත් ටෙක්නිකල් ප්‍රශ්නයක්. right? අනිත් වැදගත්ම දේ තමයි ඔයාගේ values ඒගොල්ලන්ට පෙන්වන්න ඕනේ. සමහර ලීඩර්ෂිප් ස්කිල් එක තමයි ඇත්තටම වැදගත් වෙන්නේ. හුඟක් වෙලාවට මම ඉස්ලාම් කිය ලංකාවේ නම් අර පොස් කියන දේ එයාට පල්ලෙන් කට්ටි කරනවා. එයා කියන දේ පල්ලෙන් කරනවා. ඒ විදිහේ හයරාකි එකක් තියෙන්නේ. නමුත් ඉන්ටර්නැෂනල් ඕගනයිසේෂන් එකක් ගත්තොත් Google ඒවා Amazon Tesla ඔක්කොගෙම තියෙන්නේ ෆ්ලැට් ඕගනයිසේෂන් එකක්. ඒතකොට එන්ජිනියර් කෙනෙක් විදිහට ඔයාට ප්‍රොජෙක්ට් එකක් රන් කරන්න දුන්නොත් එහෙම ඒ ප්‍රොජෙක්ට් එකට තව විශාල ඔයාගේ මට්ටමේම ඉන්න තව කට්ටිය ගොඩක් ඒ සහයෝගය ලබා ගන්න වෙනවා. දැන් කොහොමද එහෙම කරන්නේ? තමන්ගේ යටතේ නැති වුණාමනේ. එතකොට හරියට මේකේ values convince කරන්න වෙනවා මේ අනිත් ඔයාගේ ටිකන peersලට ඔයාත් එක්ක වැඩ කරන්න. මේ වගේ ස්කිල් එකක් හදාගන්න අර group එකක lead කරලා ඒ වගේ පොඩි කාලේ ඉඳලම ඒ වගේ හැකියාවන් වර්ධනය කරගෙන තියෙනවා නම් ඒක උපකාරී වෙනවා. දැන් මෙච්චරයි මට කියන්න තියෙන්නේ. This is all I have to say about the career guidance. Because of the diversity of the group, I don't think it's relevant for me to go to each and every detail. But in general, I have given you the idea. If you are choosing the formal path, which is the less risk, I advise all to be tried that path, but don't try it too much. But if you don't have those, if you don't able to get into that formal path, then there will be other things available. I'll be part of the two of those, the ICTA and IT Center University Peradeniya. Through that, we can help you, and also be prepared for taking challenges and be prepared when you go for a job interview and so. Thank you for listening to me. Nalin, you want to take it over?
Thank you, Isru. Thanks a lot. And Dr. Isru, how long you can stay? Like there will be a lot of questions, and I personally have some issues, and to discuss with you. And
okay.
How long you can stay with us, if you wouldn't mind?
Now it's 8, right? And it's 7:40. I can be here like 8:30. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's more than enough. And thanks a lot.
Okay.
And Sanjay, can you start the Q&A forum right now? Because if anybody has any issue, then you can simply put your hand raised, and you can ask your questions straight away from the resource person itself. Sanjay, shall we give opportunities to the audience to raise their hands and ask questions? Is it allowed right now, Sanjay?
Yes, it is allowed now.
Right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions, we would rather happy if you ask questions relevant to today's discussion, and if something related to your career development and your freelancing or your entrepreneurship issues, then please raise your questions. Until then, may I ask some 2-3 of my general questions, Dr. Isru?
Yeah, sure.
Right, thanks. And especially with your experience back in the United States, I would like to share some of your experience, because you were there as a master student, then PhD. You might have met a lot of diversified people around the globe. So what's your take-home message to, especially for this young and the youth? There are a lot of undergraduates here. And how do you see the difference between the people you have dealt back in United States, or maybe your co-students, maybe research students, and you have any messages to share with our people? Because maybe number one is the technical and this educational backgrounds. The other one could be the attitudes as a whole, not only just as a student, but just as a citizen back in United States. If I ask the question straight away, what's the secret behind their success?
Yeah, the thing is, so our graduates and the United States graduate in the technical aspect, I don't see much difference. They run the same courses as we do in our undergraduate. They have the same difficulty and all that, but I think the practice is what matters. What I say is like in US company, when we do something, it's very structured and people are responsible for their action. Now, the biggest problem I see in Sri Lanka, people do things, but nobody's taking the responsibility. Taking responsibility is very important, or the ownership of the things. I think that is one key where they thrive, because people take responsibilities of what they do. It's a success or failure, doesn't matter, but the responsibility, that's the other thing. The other thing is like they are focused, and they are managers or the people in the above give more freedom for the young people to experiment things, and they expect some of your things will fail. But in our case, the failure is not welcome, right? Now, from the failures is what most of the young people learn. And also there's a resource problem also. They can let people to play with this expensive equipment and break it, but we cannot. We can't afford these things by breaking those things, but they will learn. But I think that the learning from failures is not what we have capitalized. That's one thing I see. And then there is this structure. It's always good to have. I have seen this structure in the even in Sri Lanka in the private organization, where you have certain deliverables to deliver in certain time. And if you are not able to deliver your deliverables, you will be talking with your management and other finance, and then you will pivot your path and so on. And it's a continuous evaluation process going on that will help for a young engineer to deliver a project. Whereas in here, most of the time that mentorship is lacking. You will be just leave the engineer. The people believe that once you pass out from the engineering faculty with a degree, that you can go do your own thing. But that's not the case. They will need a lot of guidance, mentorship, because in there it's essential, because not only, as I said, not only engineering graduate coming for the engineer jobs, but as chemistry graduate also coming. So they need different kind of training. Therefore, mentoring is a very essential part in their career development. But we don't find that in Sri Lankan organization. But I don't know, maybe in the new private organization might have that mentoring and grooming activities. But I think that's lacking. Even I work for SLT there, and also in Sri Lanka and other institutions that I have experience with.
Thanks, Dr. Isuru. And even myself, I would experience some power failures right now. Maybe a few moments later, then now I will switch off the video. And Isuru, let me ask you some kind of until people come up with questions, kind of a controversial issue, because you and me were in the university some times ago, and we manage ourselves, especially say if in my case, it was like my parents' money and I had even fundings and some facilities. But back in United States, I'm sure that people are having their own funding by themselves, particularly, but they work outside and they earn themselves. Students, I'm referring to the students. And I believe that even in Sri Lankan context, that is not far away. We all have to work ourselves and earn our fundings in the future.
That's true.
How these students managing that? Because we find bit difficult when it comes to exam times and lecturing times. We don't have enough time. People would simply say that we don't have enough time to go out and do some works. But how these United States or the other Western world students manage their time, even doing some part-time works and to have their own funding methods by their own? How do they do it? By putting their efforts to education as well?
Right. The thing that I see here is we always try to do perfect thing. Even in the exams, we want to be perfect. That's how we've been crafted. But I don't think the United States undergraduate in general would try to do that. He has his own priorities. Now, the people who play soccer, for example, they will play soccer even at the exam day that night, because they have time allocated for that thing, and that is his priority. And the main thing is, your time is your life, right? You should have a control of it. If you don't lose it, if you don't have control of it, nobody is going to control it. And what if you die after the exam, right? Then you don't have the time to play in here. So I think most of the students have that mindset where they don't want to do things perfectly. As the perfection is not being something that they crafted, they have the priorities, and they work according to priorities. Because the problem is here, if you get a plus, that person will be praised and get all the credits and all the certificate, gold medals and everything. And the person who get like a C or something will not get anything. But at the end of the day, if you put both into the industry, there's no much difference. They will do the same thing. So that being understood from even at the employers and also at the students. So they will focus on the things that interest them. It's very important to do something interested to you in your life. Otherwise, you'll be doing something for other people's agenda. And at the end of the day, you will see that you don't have done anything for yourself, neither to the others. So that's I see most of the time. But it's a social problem.
Yes, thanks, Isra. And that's a very good answer. And it's not just in the universities, and it starts right now from the kindergarten itself. Then those who get this,
people want to be the top. Yeah, that's not what the top people is not always giving the best.
Yes, and then this might be very harsh in terms of my comment, but I heard even from Jack Ma's that don't let teachers to rape our students. Like if the students show some good marks, that they will be simply picked up and, as you well said, they're praised, and the others being ignored. Ultimately, once you're in the industry, it's what matters is your attitude and your dedications. Right. Yeah. Thank you very much. And Isru, final question,
there was some chat
that was generally
how to join the CCNA program in University of Peradeniya. So we have a link in the ICTA website. You can follow that one and so on. I don't know, Nalin, you want to take anything from chat?
That should be. Yes. Again, one small message to all the audience. We have that attendance sheet being shared as a Google form. So you have to mark your attendance, and it will be open for maximum of say 15 minutes more. So we'll try to conclude the session by 8:20. And yeah, Isuru, that I would rather have you again just to mention something about this IT sector, because I thought that it's from the Faculty of Engineering, but it's not from the Faculty of Engineering. That I think you refer the IT center, the other side of the bridge, I believe.
Yeah.
Is it under science faculty, or is it under separate?
No, it's a separate institute under university. What we do is we offer courses for other faculty. For example, agriculture, AHS, they don't have IT staff, so we teach their undergraduate courses. And on top of that, we have our own courses that running for the art students and all that. And we have the other courses that offered for the outsiders, like a CCNA course, for one example. Like those small professional development courses, we run it there. We have a trained staff to do that. So anybody can, but there's a limitation in the amount that we can accommodate, but anybody can register for other courses and follow. And we are doing, I think, half the
even the university students can do.
Yes, even university students can do. For example, the CCNA is a professional course, though if a university student interested, they can enroll, but they have to pay. But other courses that we offered for the faculties, the student doesn't need to pay, they can come do free. So there are free courses and the courses that they have to pay and so on.
Yeah, I could remember in like, if I'm to just remember our history, that in our times, I could remember that you and a few of our friends from Peradeniya, you came to Colombo to follow some Java courses back then in our times.
Yeah. I did CCNA too, actually, which helps me a lot when I was an IP networks engineer at Sri Lanka Telecom. So Sri Lanka Telecom, all the peripheral routers are Cisco. So it's helped. It has a lot of theoretical component also, and the hands-on thing. The hands-on thing is what is lacking. Most of the university students, the theory we don't have problem. But the CCNA provide that additional thing. So people who are interested in a networking, I think it's a good thing to do. Though they do an exam and pass, that's one thing. But the experience, the skills that they can get it, because we have all the facilities available, it's valuable. I myself didn't do the exam, but I use the skills that I learned.
That matters. Yeah, that's what you mentioned about, even that the educational results or the exam results will not matter, but still the knowledge and the hands-on experience would definitely helpful. Thanks, Yusuf. And something to mention about is freelancing, because I'm sure that many of our students have to think something for themselves. Maybe number one is for their some additional income. Number two, maybe even to have your future being proved for certain level of experience gathered and some skills being developed. And how you give you a message to this, may not be even IT students, maybe some other different scales, but how you advise them to embark into this freelancing business and try to earn some dollars, at the same time try to make ourselves or our wallet being filled with some of them. So how you give some advice to these freelancing opportunities?
As I said, right, the IT industry is maybe the most benefited industry due to this pandemic. Now, recently, I'll share, I was told by one of the lecturers in the computer engineering department, they have a job fair for 60 students who are graduating, and there will be 35 companies they are to interview. So the people who have the IT skills at highly demand, and they go for these jobs. Once they have like a structured income path, they will go for that. They are not willing to go to do a freelancing kind of thing. So now the freelancing landscape has opened to all the other people who have had just some knowledge of IT and who are interested in IT. So that's the landscape piece. So I encourage people who likes to do these things, who likes to be your own boss kind of people, to look at these opportunities. And as I said, the ICTA has a freelancing mentoring workshops. They have a boot camp, I guess, and a lot of informations, and there are a dedicated team that look after this one. You can contact them, those who are in the ICTA website. And they can connect to they already have the network built. That's the hard part for a newcomer to come, right? He doesn't know anybody, and people don't trust him, then the jobs are not being given and so on. But the ICTA people already have that network built, so we can connect with them, and they can direct you to the other thing. I see a large opportunity there, because the demand for the regular stream students are high, and we don't expect them to come, because some may come, right? There will be people who are interested come, but there are a lot of opportunities for people who want to learn and do things, and ICTA definitely can help in that area.
Thanks. Thank you, Dr. Isuru. And Sanjay, do we have any other special requests or any other chats, questions came to you through WhatsApp or through any channels?
No, it's not in. There is no any question I have received through the WhatsApp, or no hand raised currently.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions, you can take another 10 minutes to raise your hand and ask your questions. If not, I believe that we can go for a conclusion without wasting much of a time. And Sanjay, shall we go for a conclusion?
I think so.
All right. Okay. Thanks. And Dr. Isuru, again, thank you very much for your presence today. And I would rather happy if you can make a final remark, giving some message to this, especially it may not be the technical advice, but just to give some.
I actually don't plan to give these people technical advice, and because it's not the platform for that. I was trying to give you overview of what's going on and how you prepare yourself for career opportunities. I hope you will get something out of it. It's too general, one can say, because I cannot be career development, that career guidance has to be given to the specific person with analyzing all the capabilities that he has and all that thing that I understand. But this will give you understanding, and I think the main thing I want to remove is the misconceptions that the society is building. Though our universities have problems, they have problems in our time, they have problems even in previous times, and they will have problem in future. That's not going to be changed. But though that happens, that path is still, I think, the least risk. So people are encouraged to take that, but people may not want to do that. Then there will all the opportunities arising in the things with the technological development. There's online courses and whatnot. They can follow that also. But as a student, what is important is be yourself, right? Don't try to mimic others. The things that I work for me will not work for you, but I can share my experience. From my experience, it will help you to plan your career. But having yourself is much important, and it has a much more value than trying to be somebody else. That's my final message to give.
Thanks. Then that's a message to share with everybody. And thanks, Dr. Isuru. And let me thank you for let me thank you for two key reasons. Number one is to spend the time Saturday evening and preparing yourself and giving some good thoughts, insights with especially with these young engineering and young technical participants. Thanks. That's number one. And number two, I have to personally thank you for coming back to Sri Lanka and to serve this country and have your mindset to come back to Sri Lanka and spending about more than 15 years in the United States. And with that remark, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. You all being a great audience, and please don't forget to mark your attendance again. We will keep it open for another 2-3 minutes time. Then please mark your attendance. And again, thanks a lot, Dr. Isuru Sanai from University of Peradeniya. And was my batchmate some times ago, and now I can proudly say that he's one of my best batchmates. And thanks, Isuru. Thanks a lot. And the audience, participants, thanks a lot. And we have done with 5 sessions right now, and we have only 3 sessions to finish. And hopefully next week, we are talking about the networking from another good technical contributor, plus he's from Canada. And the next one could be about the data science and the machine learning, plus again, some areas to be improved. And the final one is for the mobile applications. With that remark, ladies and gentlemen, please try to encourage your friends to go ahead with those sessions. This will not be a session to complete your education, but those are the sessions basically to make your eyes open and give some opportunities and share with all your friends. And thanks again, Dr. Isuru, and all the organizing committee from the Magnus Academy. And thanks a lot, ladies and gentlemen. Let's meet by the next week, same time, Saturday evening, 6:30. Thank you very much. Have a pleasant evening.
Thank you.
Good night. Good night.